Okay. And tell me, let's talk a little bit about your family. We talk a lot about everything else about your wife and your children.
Family, I'm fortunate enough to be for a lady to put up with me. February the 9th of next year, we will have been married 40 years.
40 years.
We have two sons. One's 38 years old, Terrence. He lives in Orlando, Florida. He's in management with FedEx.
Okay.
And
Orlando.
in Orlando. And then my youngest son is Travis.
Mhm.
He's 32 years old and he teaches down in Augusta.
Okay.
This year he's teaching English as a second language. He's been doing that for the past 7 years.
Okay.
So my oldest is married and has a stepson, Chris. Chris attends that now known school, Florida Gulf Coast University.
Okay.
In fact, they were in the news on the day before yesterday when they wouldn't allow the shot to go in.
Okay.
But they're doing very well.
Okay. Okay. Well, good. And I know you've been involved, of course, in politics. How you get in politics?
Uh, Actually, Fred, it's like this. I was trying to mind my own business. I was in my classroom trying to teach, and there was a knock on the door, and said, "We need to talk to you about, think about running for a position." What had happened was my next door neighbor was Matthew Ware.
Okay.
Matthew had taken a job in Atlanta. So he told me that he was going to be stepping down because he had to leave. And we need to search to find someone. And I said, that's a great idea. Let us go search and find someone. And so we were looking for someone. And then, like I say, someone came to school and they sat there for about an hour and a half before school was out and waited until I said, well, we need to think, we think that you would be the person to run for this position. That was a city council before unification took place. And I told my wife, I'm not interested in politics. That's the furthest thing from my mind. And our phone rang every day, all day for a solid week.
Wow.
So my wife told me, "You gonna do something, and even if it's wrong, you gonna do it, because I'm tired of this phone ringing." So I ran. There were 5 of us that were running, and I defeated those 4 people to become city council person. And then that was in 1988, and I finished up the partial term for Matthew, and I had just gotten reelected for a full term, and unification came about. And when unification came about, I ran for Super District number 9. I was defeated by 350 votes, and so I set out 2 years and came back and ran again in 1993 and won the seat from this Mary Moore. And I've been there since that time.
Okay. What have you learned serving in government politically?
It's I guess part of my problem, or trying learning. I've learned a lot because I've learned that people have their agendas, regardless of, even though they say, well, we're about what's best for Athens. A lot of what's best for Athens sometimes is only because that's what they want,
Right. Okay.
not because of what it really does do for the entire community. Because a lot of times it's more for a certain group than it is for the bigger portion of Athens. I mean, even rich or poor, sometimes not what even the rich would want. But so you deal with that, and that's something. I think one of the things I learned too is you got to learn the art of compromise.
Okay.
And especially when you're in the minority in numbers, you definitely learn the art of compromise. As Kenny Rogers said, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Okay.
To pull off some of the things you get. And I've been fortunate that in my term that I've served, that we've been able to do a lot of things, you know, even with physical structures. When I look at the area that I represent and what's there and where it was and where it is now, you know, there's still a lot of work to be done, but a lot of things have taken place that would not have taken place had, you know, the art of compromise had not been put in.
Right. Okay. What I want to do now is to give you an opportunity to kind of close it out and tell me anything you want to say.